Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 6th episode in the Fiqh series. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Amma ba'd. So we continue, and the author then speaks of the Wudhu. So we have entered the Fardh, obligatory acts of the ablution, and he says, the obligatory Fardh acts of the ablution are 6. Wudhu, ablution, and the Fardh acts. So Fardh, wajib, both synonyms, both mean the same thing except in the chapter of Hajj, when we come to that. The obligatory acts of the ablution are 6. So just pointing out from the 6, the quick how it is. Intention is there. Face, hands, head, feet, and the order. As it says in the Quran, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا قمتم إلى الصلاة. O those who believe, when you stand to establish prayer, فاغسلوا وجوهكم. So first thing you wash is your face. وَأَيْدِيَكُمْ إِلَى الْمَرَافِقِ, and then your hands up to your elbows. وَامْسَحُوا, and wipe بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ, with your head. Wipe your head. وَأَرْجُلِكُمْ إِلَى الْكَعْبَيْنِ, and your feet up to the ankles. So I've summarized it in a drawing, a graphic representation. And just to go over each part very quickly. So these are just the body parts. There's only 4 involved in the 4 obligatory parts of the Wudhu. The Sunnah Wudhu, we'll come to see that inshallah soon. Although he says starting with intention, I'll come back to that, but first thing we wash from the limbs is the face. So normally when you do the hands and then the rinsing of the mouth and then the nostrils, that's all part of the sunnah. So we haven't touched upon that yet. But as is come in the text, we're talking about the Fardh acts of Wudhu. Once you've done this, you have Wudhu. This is the minimum that is required for one to do. First is the face, and that is the whole face. So what is head compared to face? We will see that as you come to the detail. Face, number 1. The second limb that we're going to do is the hands. And when I say hands, it's also up to and including the elbow. And that's the elbow for both sides. Now, the Prophet ﷺ said, Antum al-ghurru al-muhajjalun. You are the ones who will be bright, their faces and the arms and the legs on the day of judgment, and the day Yawm al-Qiyamah. You'll be the ones coming with all this brightness. Why? Due to the athar al-wudu. Because of the wudu that we did, we extended it to parts. So فَمَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ مِنْكُمْ أَنْ يُطِيلَ غُرَّتَهُ فَلْيَفْعَلْ. That whoever is able to extend his parts of what's going to be brighter, extend. So go from the elbows even further. And then as you can come to the ankles, I'll say the same thing. So this is one thing. The previous prophets, they did perform wudu, but for us we have a specific extra that they never performed, to be from the ghurul muhajjalun, those who extended the wudu. But this is specific to the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ that we can do and we should do, and it's sunnah. So let's follow it. And so just like previous prophets, they perform wudu, but the Prophet ﷺ, he was taught wudu by Angel Jibreel, who came in the early days of prophethood, and he showed him how to. They prayed 2 rakats. Before they prayed 2 rakats, they got ready for it, and that's by performing wudu. First face, second the hands up to the arms. The third is to wipe a piece of the head, which is the hair part, which is within this area at the top between the 2 ears. Again, we'll come to that in details. And then the final part, so that's 3 limbs done. The fourth one is the feet. And again, to be from the ghur al-muhajjilin, the ones who extend and become bright from all the feet as well. We do all the feet, and then we come up to the ankles, and let's go above the ankles slightly as well. Above the ankles slightly as well, just to be included. But what is fardh is just up to the ankles and including the ankles, just like including the elbows. So that's the 4 parts. 4 limb parts. The other one was the intention that we're going to come, and the final part is the order in which we do it. So as we begin with the intention, so what's intention? قصد الشيء مقترنا بفعله. This is now, as we have seen in hadith, whoever's been following the hadith series, in the first one, and we talked about intention, all your intentions, all your actions are by intentions, all your deeds. So to intend to do wudu, nawaitu, to have it in the heart is that obligatory part. Why? Because you're differentiating a habitual act that you normally just perform in habit, and you're differentiating it that now this is ibadah, this is worship. I'm performing wudu to purify myself, to get yourself in a state that's removing minor ritual impurities, to be in a state that now you can perform salah, you can pick up the mushaf, you can read the mushaf, you can carry the mushaf, and you can perform tawaf. So with wudu we are able to do this. It's a precondition for salah. So very important. People can just come home from work and intend a purification. They make a general nawaitu at-tahara. They intend just a normal washing of the face, and maybe they might even do the whole wudu, but if they just intended tahara, purification, that could be for anything. That could be for just cooling down. It's a hot day from work, they've had a long day, they just cool down, they just actually perform the whole wudu, but they didn't intend wudu. It's important to be specific and say nawaitu al-wudu. This is the sunnah part. So in the heart, you know you're performing wudu, that's great, but to get extra rewards, to perform, to say with the tongue, nawaitu fardul wudu or fara'idul wudu, or nawaitu at-tahara, but that was the general one, nawaitu at-tahara, I just intend purification. Anil hadith is the thing you need to add then. Anil hadith, from minor ritual impurities. So the intention has to be at that moment you're just about to do that action, which, as I said, we're not touching upon the sunnahs in this lesson. So the first thing we will do, for example, if I'm doing wudu, I'm doing my intention, and I'm just about to take water, and I'll make sure as soon as it's hitting my face, I have the intention in my heart, and I can say, nawaitu fardul wudu. You're doing it in your face, and you're hitting the face with it. And that first time is the minimum requirements to do that first time. Yes, in sunnahs we will look at it to see 3 times, being the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his way. So when we're washing the face, to intend the wudu at the same time is crucial. Just like in prayers, when we do takbiratul ihram, as we come to see it, we can do the opening Allahu Akbar. When we're doing that, we say Allah. As soon as we say Allah, then we have that intention in the heart that we're praying salah. Again, when we come to that chapter. So for every act that we do, to differentiate it from being just a normal act, saying it's an ibadah, it's an act of worship, we intend. Intention is so important. You get rewarded for your intentions. The only times we can't do it is in Ramadan now, that when we can't determine when is it dawn compared to night, when is that moment that now fasting is that, so we don't do it at that time. We have the whole night to make intention, any part of the night. Enough you make the intention at the beginning of the night and then you eat, that's fine. You made the intention in the night, that was the time for intention. When you as soon as the dawn hits and you don't eat anything, that's it, you're fasting. Similarly in Hajj, you intend months before you actually go to Hajj. And in Arafah, don't go to Arafah at that moment in Arafah, then you intend Arafah, that you intend Hajj. You do it months before, because there's a lot of preparation. So those 2 places are an example of in the intention is not at that parallel with the action doing it, but that's sometime before. But normally the intention should be right at the beginning. So nawaitu al-fard wudu, nawaitu al-wudu. Saying it is sunnah. Washing the face. So the first part that we have to do is to wash the face, and the face is the whole thing up to your chin. People with bigger beards, you don't have to wash every single part of the beard, just general. The ones who have the thin beards, they have to wash until it goes to the skin and the chin as well. So all the perimeter of the face, which is part of the ears, and make sure we go up to the top where the head the hair starts coming out, so the whole forehead part up to the top. Make sure all of this is wet for us. Washing the face. Again, in all of these limbs, if any dirt is in any place, you need to make sure that dirt is removed, because the water has to reach your skin. Washing the face. Once. That once is that for the act. This is the minimum. The Prophet showed the complete version, and he showed us the permissible version. So all this is to make you do all this, you have wudhu. Washing the hands up to the, including the elbows. So we have our hands, again, we're not talking about takhleel, we're not going to talk about going in between the fingers, this is not the sunnah. So we wash the hands and we're going to go up to the elbows. But remember, we're not just going to go up to the elbows, we should try and include to be from those bright on the Day of Judgment, from the Muslims who the light will shine. We go slightly further. Now, you know, all these limbs that we're talking about, the main thing is why washing these limbs. These are the limbs that perform the sins. You know, these are the things that actually go to performing each and every sin. So this is, wudhu is the first expiation of these sins, that you'll be forgiven. So every time we do wudhu, we're being forgiven as well. Sins, minor sins are removed, and Allah's forgiving this if we perform that with all, for Allah's sake, that we do this. So the hands up to the elbow, try and go slightly beyond. Again, the minimum is that you do the elbow and up to the including the elbow. You can't just do part of the elbow, it has to be all of the elbow. But to go further, it's better, it's more cautious, and you're getting the reward of being from the bright ones. Once we've done the hands, again the nails as well, go inside the nails, make sure there's no dirt. It has to touch within, go within the nails for us. Next part is the hair, the head. The Prophet ﷺ would wipe a bit of the hair and then do the rest on the imama, on his turban. So a part of in the Shafi fiqh, just a part of the hair is what's sufficient. Not a part of hair if you have long hair, or if it's a woman, not a hair down here, you don't make a little bit of hair wet. Anything that's on the main head area, that hair, making a little bit is the minimum requirement, the first requirement to that you've satisfied that washing of that limb part. And in Sunnah we'll see how it will be the whole hair. Again, you're not making the whole thing wet, it's wiping it. وَامْسَحُوا بِرُؤُوسِكُمْ. Wiping part of the head. Next one, number 5, is washing the feet up to and including the ankles. Again, nails, we got toenails now, just like we had fingernails before for the hands. Make sure there's no dirt in there, and then there's no dirt on your feet as well, and then you do it all the way up to your ankles. So know what your heel is different to your ankles where the bones are. You go up to there, and again, when I'm saying to be from those bright ones, غُرُّ الْمُحَجَّلُونَ, let's go slightly more above than the ankle and wash all that part. And if you wash both feet at the same time, I have to do this in order, so that's the last part, we're going to come to the order. But if you wash both feet at the same time, for example, you put it both in water and take it out, it's washed. But we know when we come to the sunnah, it'll be the right first and the left, and also this order, how we kind of going to mention next. And the last point is tartib, is order. We have to perform this all in order. If we washed our face and then we went from our face to our head, we missed the elbows. When we go back, we can retrace it. You don't have to start all the way from the start, wudhu again. You can go back to the part you kind of did last. So you did the face, okay, so that was done. So you do the hands. So if you jump from here to here, go back to the part that was going to be the next. So go back to the hands, for example. It has to be done in order. If you have 4 children, mashallah, then, and all 4 of them doing all 4 limbs and washing it at the same time, what you kind of really done is just made sure that your head is, your face is the one that's done. So all 4 limbs are washed. It's only your face that is actually washed, and then you'll have to carry on from that to the next part, which is then your hands up to your elbows. So it needs to be done in orders, washing the feet and including up to the ankles, and finally, the order, everything has to be done in order, as how the Prophet ﷺ has taught us. And that is it for Fiqh lesson 6. وصلى الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم.